Early Saturday morning, Daniel stood by the kitchen window, holding a warm mug of coffee as the soft Colorado sun slid over the backyard fence. His wife, Lily, moved through the garden with a small watering can, her yellow dress catching the light like a flag of peace. She laughed when the water splashed on her feet, a high gentle sound that made Daniel smile without thinking. "You're enjoying yourself," he called through the window. "Always," she replied, brushing her hair back. In that moment, he believed he was looking at the woman he had spent 12 years building a life for, one careful brick at a time. He didn't know a single message was about to tear that world apart. Daniel had built their home board by board, using the same precision he learned years ago when he served as a military scout. His friends often joked that he could measure a straight line with his eyes closed. "Discipline, not talent," he would say, and Lily always laughed as though the word discipline amused her. She would tease him, "You treat marriage like a mission brief, Dan." And he would answer, "Only because I want it done right." For years, he thought their differences made them stronger, her bright energy balancing his steady calm. He had no idea she was already drifting away from him. That evening, Daniel took Lily to Blue Mesa, the restaurant where they had shared their first date 12 years earlier. The waiter lit a small candle between them, and Lily smiled like it warmed her heart. 12 years, she said softly, tapping her glass against his. "Feels like yesterday." Daniel laughed. "Only because I cook better now." She rolled her eyes and squeezed his hand. They talked about her upcoming gala, the wild requests from her clients, and the wine they were drinking. Everything felt normal, almost perfect. Daniel didn't know he was sitting across from a woman keeping 3 different lives hidden beneath one smile. They drove home in silence, but the comfortable kind, the kind married couples earn through years of shared routines. Soft music played from the dashboard, and Lily scrolled through her phone absent-mindedly. Daniel reached a red light on the quiet stretch of Lakewood Avenue. He took a slow breath, ready to make a joke about the long light. But then Lily's phone lit up in the cup holder. A message glowed brightly on the screen, impossible to ignore. "Yesterday was unbelievable. Your body is trouble. I need your lips again." It was signed by someone named Evan. Daniel froze, gripping the steering wheel until he felt his pulse in his palms. Lily snatched the phone so quickly that her nails clicked against the glass. "Just a client," she said, forcing a shaky smile. Daniel kept his voice steady. "Sounds like a very familiar client." She laughed nervously. "You know how pushy people in events can be." But Daniel wasn't listening anymore. The part of him that once calculated wind speed and target distance snapped awake. Cold, precise, unshakable. He didn't shout, didn't accuse, didn't even blink. "Long day tomorrow," he said calmly. Lily relaxed a little, not realizing the truth. Daniel wasn't reacting because he was no longer the calm husband she thought she knew. He was the hunter again. When they reached the driveway, the house looked warm in the moonlight, every window glowing softly. Lily leaned over and kissed Daniel's cheek. "Good night, love," she whispered, tasting of wine and secrets. He kissed her back with the same calm he used to steady his rifle years ago. Inside, Lily hummed as she walked upstairs, unaware that Daniel watched her with a steady, unreadable expression. In his mind, he replayed the message word by word, storing it like data. The hunter in him had already begun tracking a new target, the truth she thought she had buried. At 3 a.m., when Lily's breathing grew deep and steady, Daniel slipped quietly out of bed. He had learned her sleeping rhythm long ago, the rise and fall that once comforted him but now served as a signal. "Just stay asleep," he whispered. He moved through the house like a shadow until he found her purse on the kitchen counter. Her phone was inside. The passcode was their anniversary. The ease of it almost insulted him. He unlocked the screen and felt every emotion drain from his face, leaving only cold precision. Daniel didn't scroll through her messages. Not yet. Instead, he carried the phone to his workshop and connected it to his laptop. He opened a recovery tool his old friend Mark had shown him years ago. "This pulls everything," Mark had once said. "Even the stuff they think they deleted." As the program started extracting files, Daniel watched each recovered message appear like bullet points on a mission board. Pictures, locations, deleted chats, hidden calls. Lily's double life unfolded folder by folder. By the time the sun rose, he had the complete map of her betrayal. There were 3 names. Evan, the one from the message. A young trainer from her gym. Their messages were raw, careless, full of hotel addresses. Then Brian, her co-worker of 3 years, the married friend she always claimed understood her. "You're the only one who gets me," she had written to him. And finally Cole, a musician she hired for one of her events, sending her song lyrics at midnight. 3 different men. 3 different versions of Lily. Daniel closed his laptop slowly, his face blank. "She wasn't confused," he murmured. "She was organized." At 6 a.m., Daniel slipped back into bed. Lily shifted as he settled beside her. "You okay?" she mumbled, still half asleep. "Too much coffee," he answered calmly. She sighed and rolled over, falling back into dreams he no longer shared. Daniel watched the ceiling fan spin, planning his next move with the same patience he used in the field. This wasn't anger. This wasn't jealousy. This was an operation. "You chose this, Lily," he whispered to himself. "Now you'll see what consequences look like." At 7 a.m., Daniel sent a simple message to his old friend. "Need to see you today." "Important." Mark replied instantly. "My place. 1 hour." Mark lived in a loft filled with screens, wires, and humming servers. His digital battlefield. The moment Daniel walked in, Mark studied his face and said, "Tell me what I'm looking at." Daniel handed him a flash drive without blinking. "My wife's other life." Mark loaded the files, scrolling fast. 3 guys. Same phone. Same email. "Amateurs," he muttered. "Give me 48 hours. I'll get everything." Daniel left the loft and drove straight downtown to meet Julia Fields, the divorce attorney known as the surgeon. Her eyes were sharp, her voice calm, and her office looked like polished steel. She read through the printed evidence without saying a word. When she finished, she folded her hands and looked at him. "Daniel, do you want revenge or justice?" He breathed in slowly. "I want consequences. And I want her to lose everything she thought was safe." Julia nodded once. "Then we can work together." "Understand this," Julia continued, tapping the files. "Once we start, there's no turning back. No reconciliation. No forgiveness." Daniel replied softly. "Forgiveness died last night." For the first time, Julia's expression shifted. Approval. She began outlining a plan. Financial records, phone logs, calls, meetings. "She signed a prenup, correct?" she asked. "Yes," Daniel answered. "Infidelity clause." Julia smiled faintly. "Then she gets nothing. The house is yours. The business is yours. She walks away with a car and her clothes." Daniel whispered, "Good." For the next 2 days, Daniel lived like an actor inside his own home. He cooked dinner with Lily, listened to her talk about work, nodded at the right moments. She laughed, unaware the ground beneath her was cracking. On Thursday she kissed his cheek and said, "I'll be home late. Big meeting." Daniel smiled. "Take your time." When she drove away, he checked the tracker Mark had installed. She wasn't heading to the office. She was heading to a hotel. Daniel whispered, "Good. Keep lying." Daniel didn't follow her. He didn't storm the hotel. He went to his workshop instead. The sound of sanding would grounded him. Measure. His hands moved with the calm precision of a man who had learned patience from war. When Lily came home at 9:45 smelling faintly of hotel soap, Daniel looked up and asked, "Long night?" Lily sighed dramatically. "Clients are exhausting." He nodded. "I'm sure they are." She never saw the truth in his eyes. He wasn't suspicious, he was certain. By Friday afternoon Mark called him. Package ready. You need to see this. Daniel arrived at the loft to find every screen covered with proof. Locations, photos, messages, hotel reservations. Mark pointed to a spreadsheet. She spent $15,000 of your joint money on these guys. Hotels, dinners, gifts. Daniel stared without blinking. Mark added quietly, "This is heavy, Dan. Once you drop this on her, there's no coming back." Daniel's voice was cold. "There is no back." Saturday morning, Julia called. "Everything is drafted. Divorce petition, asset division, financial misconduct. It's airtight." Daniel listened silently as she explained the next steps. "But Daniel," she added, "your idea of confronting her in front of them, that's dramatic. She may try to twist it." Daniel replied, "Let her try. I have evidence." Julia paused. "Then we'll choreograph every second." Daniel closed his eyes. "Thank you." "Don't thank me," she said softly. "Prepare yourself." The plan began with her parents. Daniel sent them a simple envelope overnight. A harmless picture of Lily laughing with one of her lovers at dinner. A hand on her arm. A smile too bright. Nothing explicit, just enough for parents who believed in marriage vows. The letter was short. "I'm asking for your help. Lily is having multiple affairs. I've tried talking. She refuses. Please come to Denver Friday evening." Julia said they would come. Daniel knew it too. "They'll want answers," he whispered. Next came the lovers. Mark created untraceable numbers and 3 specific messages. To Evan, "Lily needs you. Emergency. Come to her house at 7 p.m. Don't call." To Brian, "My phone died. Come to my place at 7. Urgent." To Cole, "Crisis. Come Friday at 7. Please don't tell anyone." Daniel read the messages and exhaled. "They'll come." Mark shrugged. "Men who sneak around with married women make dumb choices. Curiosity alone will drag them here." Daniel replied, "Good. Let them walk into the truth." Finally came Lily. On Thursday, Daniel took her to lunch. He held her hand across the table and smiled warmly. She melted into the moment, believing the distance between them was gone. "Let's do something special tomorrow," he said gently. "I'll cook. Just us." Lily's eyes brightened. "That sounds perfect. I've missed us, Dan." He nodded slowly. "Me too." But his smile never touched his eyes. Lily thought she was reconnecting with her husband. She didn't know she was walking straight into her own reckoning. Friday morning, Daniel woke before dawn. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, reviewing every step of the plan like a soldier studying a mission map. Lily slept peacefully beside him, unaware that her world would collapse before sunset. At breakfast, she hummed softly while buttering toast. "You seem quiet today," she said, brushing his arm. Daniel smiled gently. "Just thinking about tonight." She kissed his cheek. "I'm glad you're making us a special dinner." Daniel whispered, "So am I." The rest of the day moved slowly, like time itself sensed what was coming. Daniel checked every detail of the setup. Laptop connected. Files organized. Evidence queued. Seating arranged. Curtains half drawn so no one could escape unnoticed. At 2 p.m. Mark sent a message. All 3 confirmed. "They'll be there." At 3 p.m. Julia texted. "Her parents arrive 6:45. Stay steady." Daniel stood in the empty living room, inhaled deeply and whispered, "This is it. No turning back." At 5:30 p.m., Lily walked into the kitchen and froze when she saw the meal he prepared. "Daniel, this looks beautiful." Roast chicken, warm bread, vegetables seasoned carefully. Daniel set 2 plates and smiled. "Only the best for tonight." She touched his shoulder softly. "Thank you. I needed this." They sat down talking about light topics. Her work, his projects, weekend ideas. She laughed easily, unaware that every minute brought her closer to the moment the walls would come down. Halfway through the wine, the doorbell rang. Lily frowned. "Are you expecting someone?" Daniel shook his head calmly. Probably a package. He walked toward the door with slow, steady steps. When he opened it, Evan stood there, young, muscular, nervous. Is Lily here? She texted me that she needed help. Daniel didn't speak. He simply stepped aside, revealing Lily in the dining room. Her face lost all color instantly. Evan, she whispered, trembling. Why are you here? Before Evan could speak, the doorbell rang again. Daniel opened it to see Brian, still in his work suit, gripping his car keys tightly. Where's Lily? She said it was urgent. Evan turned. You. Brian blinked. Who are you? Silence thickened in the doorway. Lily's hands shook as she stood, her voice cracking. Daniel, please, let me explain. But Daniel didn't say a word. He simply waited, knowing one more piece of the puzzle was about to arrive. The third knock came, not a ring, a knock. Daniel opened the door to find Cole, guitar case in hand, looking confused. Hey, Lily told me to come. What's going on? Cole stopped when he saw Brian. Then Evan. Then Lily. Wait, what is this? He asked, his voice small. All three men looked at each other, the truth forming slowly in their eyes like a storm. Lily backed away, shaking her head. No. This isn't what you think. Then came the sound Daniel had been waiting for, the heavy knock of parents who traveled miles for answers. He opened the door to Richard and Mary, Lily's father and mother. Mary looked heartbroken the moment she saw her daughter. Lily, she whispered. Richard's jaw tightened. What have you done? Lily covered her face with her hands. Dad. Mom, please. Richard cut her off sharply. Enough. We came because your husband asked for help. Clearly, he needed it. With everyone gathered in the foyer, 3 lovers, 2 parents, and 1 shaking wife, Daniel stepped into the center. Living room, he said calmly. Something in his tone made every single person obey without question. They filed into the room silently, sitting far apart like strangers on a sinking ship. Lily stood alone, trembling, eyes red and terrified. Daniel picked up the remote and stood beside the television. Let's make this simple, he said. Let's tell the truth. He clicked the remote. A slide titled Lily Gray, A Timeline of Choices, filled the screen. Lily gasped, covering her mouth. Daniel continued, his voice steady. For 12 months, Lily has been meeting each of you. He pointed at Evan. Thursdays. At Brian. Tuesdays. Cole. Weekends. Evan's face collapsed. Lily. You told me he didn't care about you. Brian whispered. You said your marriage was practically over. Cole whispered. You said you were lonely. Lily sobbed. I didn't mean. Daniel cut her off with a raised hand. You meant every message you sent. He clicked again. Screenshots filled the TV. Texts, photos, hotel reservations. Mary cried softly into her hands. Richard stared straight ahead, frozen with shame. Evan stood up. I'm done, he said shakily. I didn't know about any of this. Brian followed, his voice hollow. I can't be part of this. Cole whispered, I'm sorry, before slipping out. Soon only Lily and her parents remained facing Daniel. Lily dropped to her knees. Please, Daniel, please. Daniel looked down at Lily kneeling on the carpet, the same carpet they once argued about when choosing colors for the house. Stand up, he said quietly. She shook her head. I can't, please, Daniel, don't do this in front of them. Her father cut in sharply. He wouldn't be doing this if you hadn't done that in front of everyone. Mary whispered. Lily, how could you? Lily sobbed harder, reaching for Daniel's hand. He stepped back, his expression unreadable. No performances. No lies. Just truth. Daniel turned off the TV, letting the silence press against the room. Your parents needed to know, he said calmly. I've carried this alone long enough. Richard stood, pointing at his daughter. I'm ashamed of you. Mary nodded tearfully. We raised you with values, Lily. Lily cried. I made mistakes. I was stressed. I felt unseen. Daniel blinked slowly. Mistakes don't last 12 months with 3 different people. The truth settled like a weight none of them could lift. Daniel walked to the entryway and opened the door. 2 suitcases sat on the porch. Lily's breath caught. You packed my things. Daniel nodded. Yesterday. Her voice broke. But where will I go? Daniel shrugged gently. Maybe one of the men you chose will take you in. Lily covered her face. They left. Daniel answered. So did you, long before tonight. Mary tried to reach for her daughter, but Richard held her back. She needs to face this, he said quietly. Lily stood shakily, mascara streaking down her face. Daniel, I love you. I never stopped loving you. Daniel looked at her, his voice soft but cold. Then why did you build 3 other lives? Lily stepped closer. I was lost. I was stupid. I was selfish. Please, let's fix this. Daniel shook his head slowly. I fixed the house. I fixed the problems. Fixed everything. But I can't fix you. I can't fix choices you made over and over again. Lily's shoulders collapsed under the truth. Check your email, Daniel said. Your lawyer has the divorce papers. Everything goes through them now. Lily whispered. You're ending our marriage. Daniel met her eyes. It ended at a red light when your phone lit up. Mary cried softly behind her. Richard looked away, unable to watch his daughter fall apart. Lily reached for Daniel's arm, but he stepped back once more. Please, she whispered. Just talk to me. Daniel's voice cracked for the first time. I talked for 12 years. You listened to other people. Lily grabbed the suitcases with shaking hands. I don't have anywhere to go, she murmured. Daniel's jaw tightened. Then start where I did, alone. She flinched like the words had struck her. She turned to her parents. Can I come with you? Richard answered without hesitation. Not right now. Lily gasped. Dad, please, Mary whispered. We need time, Lily. What you did. It broke us too. Lily stepped into the night, looking smaller than she ever had. Daniel closed the door gently. No slam, no anger, just finality. The silence inside the house felt heavy but clean. Richard cleared his throat. Daniel, we're sorry. Daniel nodded. It's not your fault. Mary wiped her cheeks. You didn't deserve any of this. Daniel managed a small nod. Thank you for coming. Richard placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. You showed strength tonight. Not cruelty, truth. They left quietly, leaving Daniel alone in the home he built, the home he had to reclaim piece by piece. Daniel walked through the house slowly, turning off lights one room at a time. The kitchen where they had eaten their last dinner. The living room where he revealed her secrets. The bedroom where she had slept beside him while living 3 other lives. He paused in the hallway, whispering to himself, This is mine now, not ours. The weight of the night settled deep in his chest, but instead of pain, he felt clarity. He wasn't losing a wife tonight. He was losing an illusion. Later, he stepped outside onto the porch, letting the cool night air touch his face. The sky was wide and honest, sprinkled with stars that didn't lie or hide. His phone buzzed. Messages from Mark, Julia, unknown numbers, but he placed it face down beside him. He didn't need noise. He needed silence. He needed the sound of his own breath to remind him he was still here. I survived worse, he whispered. And it was true. He had survived war, loss, darkness. He would survive this too. When dawn finally came, Daniel stood and watched the first light spill across the yard he built. A new day, clean and steady, with no lies hiding in the shadows. He felt tired but lighter, like the truth had burned away everything false. I'll rebuild, he murmured. That's what I do. He stepped back inside his home, locking the door not out of fear but ownership. Today he would work. He would build. And maybe one day, someone worthy would walk beside him. But not today. Today, Daniel was enough all by himself.